With the bitter cold we've been experiencing this year, I don't know about you, but I'm certainly feeling the cold inside my house more than normal.
I am too.
The heat up doesn't help.
But now we have some help from Maren Goldstein. He's from the Center for Ecotechnology. He's joining us with some tips for air sealing our windows and just to keep that heat indoors.
Yes, so I'm going to start by saying that I did air sealing and insulation in my house last year. And I just was looking at my energy bills. I'm now using, even though it's like 5-6 degrees colder than it was last year on average, I'm using 60% of the energy I was using last year. So this can really make a really big difference in all of our paychecks and money that we sort of can save through this. So this is a picture of a house. It's a sketch, and what I want to say here is that what happens here with the heat is that the heat starts off through our furnace and our basement, right? So this starts to generate heat that comes up through holes, the little holes that you cut from when you're putting electrical wires or piping,
right.
And that starts to cause that heat to start to pull up, and it actually starts to pull your heat out of your living spaces into your wall cavity and go up and then out through the roof. The biggest worst concern too is if you have a chimney, like a lot of times we have chimneys in New England, the chimneys have what are called chases around them because when it was really hot in the old days when they were actually used as chimneys for like big fires and stuff like that, you actually had to keep the house away from it so it wouldn't catch on fire. But now what we have is all these big open spaces. Sometimes they're as big as a person can climb down into them. And they basically just make this huge flow of air going straight up and out of our house.
So it seems to me by looking at this, like a house is designed to insulate you from the outside, but it doesn't help because I don't see a lot of these red lines going into the house.
Right.
So it just seems like all our heating does is insulate us.
Well, the pipes are going to be, I mean, depending on the type of heating system, you are putting heat into here, but the flow starts to happen, and that flow starts to go, if you have lots of holes and a big chimney chase, the flow starts to go up nice and fast. It actually pulls the heat out of your room and sends it up and out. It also can be through fans, through bathroom fans in your bathrooms, things like that, and sucks it straight up and out of the roof. And so what you need to do, so then the second effect of that is that it actually then draws in the cold air. So you're going to get the cold air coming into the basement, you're going to get cold air coming in through your windows, through your doors. You're going to think that that draftiness is because you need to replace your windows. Where actually a lot of time that draftiness is because that cold air is being sucked in because the hot air is going so fast up and out. So the thing that you do here, and this is called air sealing, is you have people come in through the Mass Save program. They'll come out and do a home energy assessment on your house, and they will actually look to if they can find ways to air seal your attic. And what they'll do is by putting a cap on that chimney chase, putting a cap by air sealing over fans and bathroom fans and the walls, it actually then stops or at least majorly decreases the amount of airflow coming out.
Right, keeps that
and then that doesn't keep going so fast, and then it's not going to pull in the cold.
And right now we're looking at how that's practically applied in an actual home.
Yep. Exactly. And what that also will do will start to decrease the draftiness you're going to feel in your windows. You're not going to feel that cold air being pulled in because it's going to stop the hot air going out.
And this is a simple fix, and if people get an energy assessment with you folks, this service can be complimentary.
Yes. Air sealing is 100% paid for through the utilities. If you have insulation needs too to go with this, you pay 75% of it is also covered by the utilities. So you're paying only 25% of the cost for insulation to go into your attic as well.
And then when you see your energy bills, they're going to be markedly lower because you've done all of these things to help keep the heat in.
Yes.
And you're going to be cozier.
Definitely. And sometimes though, our windows are older windows. Our windows sometimes, there's still a draftiness that we can feel there. So still a little bit we can do there too. And that's why I brought this over here. So the other thing that you can do is, so we have our caulk gun. And you can, if you're feeling draftiness coming in from around the window, you can caulk around the window. It's a really easy DIY kind of thing to do. And again, that'll stop the cold air coming in.
Now, once springtime comes, can you remove the caulk?
Well, you don't need to. Putting it around the window, it's actually, you want that seal.
It's a permanent
It's a permanent seal. And again, also, we're talking about heat here because it's the middle of the winter time, but all of this stuff happens also with cold air coming in too. hot air coming in the summertime. So this will actually help save you money in the summer with AC use. house as well as in the wintertime.
So what are you waiting for? That's a simple thing to do.
Exactly, that's a very easy thing to do. If though you're still getting some draftiness in there, another thing that we recommend is some people put just a sheet of plastic over it, right? And that's just basically, if you understand how windows work, that's just going to create one more layer. It's still a pretty low R value is what it's called for protection. And so you can actually build what's called a windcert. It's interior storm window. This actually is one model that we've helped teach people how to do. It actually has a little bit of a wooden frame, so it will fit right into the window. But it actually then has plastic on both sides, and so you've got each piece of plastic is actually one more R value, and then the space in between is another R value. And that's the same whether it's plastic or the actual glass of a window. So you've got basically, usually your windows are about R3. Instead of just putting one sheet of plastic making it R4, if you put in one of these, you're actually making it an R6. So you're doubling the actual insulation factor of your window.
Now, Maren, Ashley and I, we're not that handy. Is this something that we can easily make? Is it something that you can help us make?
There's a couple different options. We do help people make these, and then there's also types that you can actually order. We work with a partner company that makes these as well with little metal frames. They're very durable, very long life, and you can also order those through us as well.
And those you can use year after year.
Oh, definitely. Whether it's the wood frame ones or the metal frame ones, they definitely last for a long time. You don't have to tear out that plastic and throw it all away. You can actually just pick these down, put them in a safe space so they don't get torn up, because if you get holes in it, then you have to replace the plastic. But, you know, if you can store these really easily and reuse them over and over again.
Easy enough. Maren, thank you so much for this.
Definitely.
You were saving everybody out there money if they utilize your tips. It's amazing how much you can actually save if you just pay attention and do these little things.
Something very simple. Thanks, Maren.
Excellent. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Now, we're talking about obviously cranking up the heat in your home, and hopefully all that heat will stay in your home, especially now that we have these tips from Maren.